Scott Exposure Beats.
It's time to teach ya a life of secrets from the mind of Lucretia, defying the creatures and smiting the demons that tend to lie and deceive us. They try to defeat you, but you can beat them if you believe. Welcome to the channel of Ample, it's Lucid Dreams, where the truth is free.
Hey guys, it's Lucid Dreams and I'm back servicing the higher minds. You're probably like, where has she been? Like, where have I gone to now? No, literally, it's so crazy, actually. I got sick in January with a big you-know-what. And actually I wasn't tested, but everybody in my house had it, so my mom and everybody. Even people who don't live in my house had it, so I was like, oh, alright, probably had it. After that, I even think I've done videos since then, but after that, it's like, man, like, I just ain't feel right. My head's been foggy and just not myself. And then, I thought I was over it, so, February came, and then the beginning of March, I was getting really, really sick again, and I'm like, what is going on with me? And mine was all sinuses, so, but back in January, when I noticed that I had this mind fog, I started studying, and that's what led me to these verses here. This is the very illness that I got is what made me start these videos. So there is a big, big purpose to these videos, and it will be revealed when I get through them. So yeah, that's what's happened. I did a big detox, around February, where I was just detoxing and doing all these, healthy things for myself, but first you have to rid of things. And yeah, it kind of like, I developed sickness again from trying to detox, but I'm better now, so we have to finish this. I can't just leave you guys hanging where we were at. I mean, goodness. And so you get me today on the couch, and I know I've been playing with some crazy green screen backgrounds. That has to do with something else I'm working on. So it's not really for these videos, but I have to learn the screen and how to use it. So I've been playing around with it and doing videos and editing and then using the screen. So just so you guys know, I know my head's cut off in some. I know the audio's messed up in other ones. Like, be patient. It's just me learning and venturing out. And then since I do videos, I'm utilizing my learning skills, as practical use. So that's why you're getting all kinds of funky things from me. But so today we are going to cover Revelations chapter 13, verse 3. But since it's been a while, I'm going to go over 1 and 2 really quick and brief with you guys, so you guys can kind of get a feel and so that way you can remember what we were talking about. All right, so far from Revelations verse 1 and 2 of chapter 13 that we've already done and discussed, we really are learning that there is some beast coming out of the sea. This beast represents a man. He's coming and he's being formed from the people. And this beast has 7 heads, and his heads represent the 7 phases of evil, or the 7 deadly sins. And the names of these sins are written on his head. This beast is spotted and not pure. And he really is here to deceive the nations. And what he is he is a person or a man that God considers as a beast because he does not carry any of the characteristics of God. And so, the Holy Spirit gives us wisdom, knowledge, things like this. When somebody's made of the devil, they don't carry the same characteristics. And so that's why the dragon gave him power, All right, so the beast has 7 identities, pretty much. 7 false traits or characteristics, 7 faces. And the beast has crowns on these heads, meaning that it's well established. It's been crowned by Satan for its actions and deeds that are not of God. And the beast has a mouth like a lion to speak volumes and loudly and roar across the nation. So we are dealing with a person, but right now we're speaking of the characteristics of the person. Now, why are we doing that? The reason why we're breaking it down this way is because it could be any man, right? We're trying to figure out here exactly who this man will be. And so in order to do that, we need to look at the characteristics, the timing. It's literally telling us that. And so we understand what we need to look for his return. And so we will get more into that. But so now in verse 13:3 of Revelations, one of the heads of the beast seemed to have a fatal wound, but the fatal wound had been healed. The whole world was astonished and followed after the beast. One of the heads of this beast has been healed after it received a fatal blow to it. So, of course, we're thinking this beast has been shot, it's been stabbed, something has hit this beast or a man in the head, and he has healed from that blow. The key here to think about is the head of the beast. Now, if we go back to the other verses that we have already learned, the head of the beast, there's many heads of the beast. There's 7 heads of the beast. Does that mean we're going to see a man that has 7 heads? No, the Bible's parables. And that's why we have to discern and break things down like this. And so the 7 heads are the spirits that live inside the beast. The 7 heads is literally a representation of the spirits that live inside this man. And so the 7 heads, it's just like me and you. Like, I could act one way to my mom, and I can act a completely different way to my friends. And that's because we are able to shape-shift our perceptions. We are able to make people believe one way and another person another way about who we are. And so the beast has this ability. He has many faces. So when he received a fatal blow to his head, it's telling us that it's one of the deadly sins that received the blow. So since it doesn't tell us which one that was, let's just use pride, because we can remember the 7 deadly sins is pride, gluttony, anger, wrath, grief, those things. Without looking at it, it's, I might be missing one. But say it's pride. Say that this beast received a blow to his prideful ego. Okay, so that would be a face of this beast. And if you and I have a blow to our ego, it sets us back a little bit. If we carry ego and we get knocked down from that ego for whatever reason, it does set us back. It makes us look around and, I could be the richest person ever, and if I lose everything, that's a pride blow to my ego. Okay? And as Christians, I know we work on not to have ego, but I'm just making this as an example because a lot of people of the world is prideful. They like to boast. Look what I've done. Look at me. Look who I am. It doesn't matter. When God gives you something, you be thankful, you be humble, you be kind. You teach others how you got it. You inspire. You don't brag and boost and make people feel less than you. And it's sometimes they don't even mean to do it. If you take a lethal blow to your pride, that means that you've been knocked down and you have to get back up. And are you going to learn from that? Are you going to learn that, oh my goodness, like, I'm no different than you. And, I have to go through lessons like you. That's part of learning. And so it's like this. Lucifer also represents pride, because Lucifer was a fallen angel. And so he fell because he literally went after God. He said, I am God. He was prideful, boastful. He had what God had, and so he thought he was God. And God had to knock him down. Knock him down and say, no, you're not. You need to be slapped back down to reality, because I am God. I'm not God, but you know what I'm saying. And so, Lucifer had a couple choices here. He could have said, I repent. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, God, you're right. I am not you. But instead, he stood up, dusted himself off, and said, I don't care, God. I'll make sure I have everything, and you won't stop me. And I will take your people, and I will rule them, just as if I was God, and you won't stop me. And that's the war right now. That's the war, because Lucifer is a fallen angel, but Satan is creating a beast that has literally pride, which represents Lucifer, and many other false demons within this beast. We are going up against something large when we're speaking of the beast of the sea. And then the passage says, and the whole world was astonished and wondered after the beast. So what's this mean? We know that people are going to be deceived into following this beast. They're not just going to purposely worship Satan. But as you can see in this world, Satan has made his blueprint everywhere we look. And we have God. We can see God's blueprint. But Satan is in our money. He's in our government. He's everywhere. He influences our children. He causes, destruction and chaos. And people don't see that. People blame God. It's not God causing this stuff. God didn't create disease and illnesses and sadness and wars. But they don't have the characteristics of God within them. And so since they don't, they have the characteristics of Satan, the father of lies, the father of all lies. He comes to kill, steal, and destroy. And so when it says that the people worshiped this beast and followed him, people all over the place here on earth follow the beast. And how can you tell? You can tell literally by the characteristics and traits within the person. And that's what this passage in this explanation of a parable is telling us. It's saying that these characteristics of this beast and these names on the beast's faces and heads are not of God. You can tell if somebody is for God or not for God. Rather, they mean to be or not. They could say they're Christian, but have the characteristics of the beast, which got his power from Satan. And so you cannot say you're a follower of Jesus Christ if you're not walking in the same light as Jesus Christ. A lot of people think they'll just get to go to church and then they're just going to be forgiven for their sins. It does not work that way. It doesn't. And you can find passages in the Bible that say, but faith leads the way. Faith does lead the way. But with true faith, the works are already given. I don't have to follow the 10 commandments if I have true faith and love in my Lord, because that's him who lives in me. When he lives in me, I cannot break a commandment because I have faith in God. I'm already centered in righteousness. And so people really get that confused. And I know I've had a few out of bodies to heaven, and there's no way that anybody's going to get in there that is going to disrupt the harmony and happiness and peace of heaven. And that's why earth is here. It's for this experience. It's to learn to find that faith, to find that happiness, to find peace within yourself, because you're not going to get it out here. You're not going to get it out here because this world is ran by the beast. And so we separate and we find our inner peace. Because when we die alone. We don't take nobody with us. We ask God. First thing we do when we die is the first thing Christians do. Dear Jesus, save me. Dear Jesus, come get me. We're talking to our Father all the way through it. The thing is a lot of people, he's not going to hear them. If he doesn't know you in your life and he doesn't know you by your walk, then how do you think that he's going to even know who you are when you come? That's why in Matthew it says, I don't know you. You're a stranger. Get away from me when the world ends. Because he doesn't know you. If you knew him, you would know the things I tell you is true. It would set well within yourself, and you would understand that it's not all about, I'm going to be forgiven because I believe in God. It's your belief in God that keeps you alive and experiencing and keeps these lessons going until you do learn, because he does not want to forsake us. He doesn't want to leave us behind. He gives us ample opportunity for another chance and another chance. And this can be pulled out in the Bible. We do reincarnate, but the word for that is not really reincarnate. We experience the next evolution or step based on the conscious frequency of our mind when we pass. It doesn't even mean we'll be in this dimension when we come back. And if we do come back to this earthly time, maybe even this exact year, that can happen. We live the same exact era and time frame because we missed something. That's possible too. But we grow on our way through our heavenly realm. So it's like he's not going to just leave us. And it's through Jesus that we don't perish. Because Jesus could have easily said, Father, in them. But no, his last words on that cross was, forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do. This shows that Jesus was elevated being. He had a higher conscious mind. He understood the destruction and seen it. He understood that people don't understand that they're being led astray. Nothing in history has changed, it's repeating. And that's what's happening right now. And this breakdown goes way deeper than you could ever imagine. By the time I get done with this, you're going to see different layers. Because when you read that Bible, it's coming from a 3D worldly perspective. On top of that, you have to see it in a 4D soul perspective with your soul mind, and a 5D mind consciousness with the spirit. You have to be able to read this Bible in that kind of way to totally grasp what it's saying. Because when you're reading from a 3D conscious that a beast comes out of the sea, the only thing that I take from that from a 3D conscious is there's a man coming out of the sea. A lot of people would think literally this is a creature coming out of the sea that looks like this. They don't understand. The higher minds, the soul mind knows that it's something more than that. They know that it's the spirits that are making up this man, that make up this creature. And that's why it's referred to as the beast. And even higher than that, we can go into spirit, where this beast is getting his power from Satan. We get our power from God. You and I, we seek God. God lives within us. We have traits and characteristics of God, and people can see that and recognize that. But this beast doesn't have any characteristics of God, only Satan, which gave him his authority and power. And so people might be like, okay, so when are you going to reveal this man and who is he? I'm going to break this down as deep as I can for you, but you have to understand that I have to explain these layers, that there are levels to consciousness. And, the whole point is servicing the higher minds to rise that elevation in understanding in God the Father. So when we can speak on his terms, we can understand him, we can hear him, and we can speak for him. He speaks through us, and that's what he wants. And that's what I want for you guys. I want you guys to make a difference in the world. And I don't have all the answers. There was somebody that wrote me, and it was a great comment, and I'm going to put that on my final breakdown of this whole wrap up of chapter 13 of Revelations. And I want to explain that he had such a good point. And he was talking about the worldly view in which we are dealing with the war that's going on right now, and how this beast represents certain symbols in that. And he's absolutely right. And so when I'm breaking this down, I literally wasn't even going to mention that. And so when that comment came through, I was like, you know what? I need to literally explain that there's levels to consciousness in this. I shouldn't assume that you just understand this, because if I just tell you that the 7 heads are literally just like pride and lust and anger and wrath and greed and gluttony, you're going to literally think that this beast is just a figure or a spiritual being. This beast is a man, and he has power like the kings. And so there's different references, different perspectives that you must look at when you're trying to dissect something so deep. And Revelations is really hard for people to understand. And the reason why is because, it speaks about the beginning of time, and it speaks about the end of time. And people do not understand time. And the reason why is because time really doesn't exist. And so how do we narrow down time by these passages and parables and understanding if really to God that time really don't exist? He's looking at us in the past. Things have already happened. He already knows what's going to happen. So I'm just going to have to do a whole entire video on time, because I can't keep veering off on these videos, and I'm not going to veer off. But yeah, time is interesting. So when we're trying to dissect Revelations, we have to see it in all perspectives. Soul form, with our soul eyes, with our spiritual eyes, with our human eyes. We have to understand that everything that we're reading is both past tense, now, and future tense. And that's why it's so confusing. So there was a reason why I picked chapter 13 to break down for you guys, and that has got to do with the big that I just got over. And so, we're really going to get into this, and I'm not kidding. We were really going to break this down. it's important to watch these verses be broke down like this before I can put it all together, because if you just watched everything I have to say about what I have to say, you're going to be so lost. These verses are necessary to go through in order for you to understand the height that this breakdown is going to. So thanks for your patience. You know, all good things come with patience, and I appreciate you guys. So my breakdown for Revelations 13 verse 3 is as follows. One of the characteristics of the leading forces of the beast was fatally wounded. But the fatal wound was healed, and the whole world was astonished, or mesmerized, by his strength, power, and authority. And they followed the beast, instead of leading their own path, in the righteousness of God. In other words, the world worshipped a false god, led by destructive forces, and followed or mimicked his characteristics, representing those 7 deadly sins. So, this next video on the next verse, I'm probably going to have to put up on a chalkboard or a whiteboard, because I'm not sure I can break this down by just a video of speaking. We'll see how that goes. But yeah, please stay tuned for that. I'm hoping to have this out next week. So this one this week, and next one next week. Maybe we'll get on this weekly track again. I can't promise that. The kids have been on spring break, just went back to school. I'm working, but you know, I have been so eager to get this out to you guys. I have missed talking to you guys, and this is a passion of mine that I just like to do, and I enjoy you guys being here. So stay tuned. Thanks. Service in the Higher Minds. Peace.